Can you believe it? The Walking Dead has now had its penultimate episode, which means there's only one more to go. And in episode 23 we did have some shocking moments which we are going to delve into, so take that as a spoiler warning. The episode continues the trend of having Judith narrate the opening, and this was definitely the most significant out of all of them, as she talks about her family, which is the title of the episode, as well as passing on the hat to RJ and saying that this day will be the day everything changes forever. What does she exactly mean by this? Well, we'll find out everything by the end of the finale. In the first portion of the episode, we do have quite a lot of those build-up conversations, like with Maggie and Negan, for example, Gabriel and Rosita, Mercer and Eugene. And in regards to Gabriel and Rosita, they were talking a bit about faith, and I think with that I'm sort of leaning a bit more now towards Gabriel taking that big death instead of Rosita. Because in that moment I was thinking back to the Reaper arc, and that Gabriel had quite an impact there with that faith guy, so maybe they'll pay all that off now with him taking that big last blow. Obviously nobody told Maggie that she's getting a spin-off with Negan, because she said they're not a we. Well, you wait and see. Judith says to Carol and Daryl that she wants to go and fight for what her family believed in, and with that it shows that she's got that same determination which Carl had, in terms of wanting to get involved and actually have an impact on proceedings. I must admit though, I was surprised that Daryl did eventually say yes, considering how big of a risk it is. I thought they might have gone down the route of Judith trying to sneak her way in, a little bit like how Carl did that with the Saviours. Later we have a scene where Mercer tells Pamela that Eugene has escaped, and I thought this was actually really interesting to see these two clash, and I've got to say both of these characters are really well acted. Hopping over to Aaron's group now, and last time we were speaking about how they had to use the whisperer technique to make sure they didn't get seen by the Commonwealth guards, and again they're using that here, but they can't really find an opening until they get to an RV. And while trying to pull Lydia inside, Lydia gets her arm bitten. But at least for her, she's got Aaron and Jerry inside, and of course Aaron's someone who's lost an arm, and with Jerry, he's a friendly presence, but also someone who's pretty decent at chopping things up. But yeah, I thought this was one of the strongest scenes in the episode, and I think a lot of that comes down to the acting of Lydia from Cassie McClincy. Jerry goes out to look for Elijah, and his parting words of "see you on the other side" did seem quite final. Whether he'll die in the finale we'll have to wait and see, but I do think someone from that group will die. I mean, I've got a sneaky suspicion Aaron might die, and maybe leave his arm for Lydia. After my previous video when I was saying that there wasn't enough death in this season, with this it's not a death, but at least now we've seen our heroes actually take a hit for once. So when we're getting into these scenes we do feel a bit more of that sense of danger. Something also to mention from that video is that we did predict that Walker with the knife might be the one to kill Pamela, and we still haven't seen that Walker, so you never know. Keeping with the variant walkers, we see one of them climbing on the back of one of the Commonwealth vehicles, and it goes full on like Halo 3 Warthog mode. It grabs that turret and starts going to town. I mean, that's what I assumed happened. We didn't actually see anything on screen apart from the crashed vehicle. We heard some gunshots, but yeah, that's what I got in my head, and it's quite a funny thought really. In this episode we also got another scene with Ezekiel and Negan, where Negan's thanking him for saving him in the previous episode, and I really just enjoy seeing these two characters interact, two leaders, and with this scene it was a nice sort of closing one for the two of them as well after what happened, and the whole "yet I smile" thing from Ezekiel. I loved all that. Eugene for the most part in this episode is hiding out, but there is a scene where a Commonwealth soldier comes into the room and Eugene absolutely smacks him down, like I think Abraham would be proper proud. Over to one of the gates of the Commonwealth, and Mercer's concerned that the walkers might be able to get in, but he won't be able to do much about it because he gets arrested. And then we get quite an amusing scene where the Walking Dead turns into the Climbing Dead, as one of the variant walkers climbs the wall, takes out the guard at the gate, and then the guard, while he's dying, opens the gate by mistake. And just like a Black Friday sale, the walkers come in their droves.
Happy holidays, Rick. And to you, my friend.
While all this is going down, Daryl and the group get ambushed by Pamela and her merry men. When she sees that Maggie's about to get shot by Pamela, Judith goes and pushes out of the way, and just like any good Grimes kid, she gets shot herself. For shocking everyone's faces, Pamela shouting "you did this," and the score coming in as well really made this for an impactful scene. As the group are trying to escape, they see they're getting trapped in with the walkers, and Negan has a great reaction to a variant one.
What the fuck?
Daryl carries Judith, which reminded me quite a lot of when Daryl was carrying Beth, and as Angela Kang, the showrunner, confirmed, it's supposed to be a bit of a mirror scene with when Rick was carrying Carl after he got shot. The episode finishes with Judith saying "daddy," which of course is a hint towards the finale where we might see Rick. I do think we will see Rick in the finale, but I don't think it might be in the way which fans are hoping for. Maybe it might be in a sort of hallucination sort of thing, but I think with Rick, I really just hope they don't do like a Deus Ex Machina sort of thing where he just comes in to save the day. How exactly they're going to wrap all this up in one episode, I do not know, but I do know that the episode is going to be longer than usual. It will be a 90-minute episode. And look, I understand it's not an easy thing to end the show where the story is going to continue on into the spin-offs, but I just hope we do get that satisfying conclusion to it, because yeah, the spin-offs are going to be hopefully great with the CRM and the variant walkers and all that sort of thing, but that's coming up in the future. But I really just hope they do nail the here and now, because For me, they haven't so far, but they've still got that finale to come. And hopefully they do deliver, because too many times the creators behind the show have been focusing too much about what's coming next. Do I expect Judith Grimes to die? Absolutely not. She is the future of the Walking Dead universe, so no way will I let her die. The promo for the final episode looks to be very intense, and I can't wait to see what they've got in store for us. Who knows, maybe Rick will wake up in the hospital bed and see Shane and it's all a dream. One thing I think might happen is that if Negan has this baby and it's a boy, he'll name it Carl. But yeah, despite its flaws, I did enjoy episode 23, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below, as well as your thoughts on what you think is going to happen in the finale. And if you want something else to watch on screen right now as a quick review for Enola Holmes 2.